Hello, I'm Ryan Town and I'm a student of CGS 5131 at the University of Central Florida. This presentation is an introduction to the aid4mail email analysis tool. Prior to this presentation, I was unfamiliar with this program, so this will be a casual overview of the trial version of the program. I'm going to run a few tests on a webmail account and see what type of results we can get back. As a note, I do not currently have a desktop-based email system, such as Outlook, installed to my computer, so I will be attempting to analyze a web-based mail account, specifically a Gmail profile. I'll explain why this is important later in the video. Before we get started, I wanted to explain a few items you should enable so you can try these examples yourself at home. As previously mentioned, I will be using an old Gmail account for my testing. This is an account from my high school days, so it's mainly sat dormant these last few years, collecting Amazon recommendations and Candy Crush invites. The first step is making sure that your webmail account has IMAP enabled. IMAP, or the Internet Message Access Protocol, is used by email clients to sync accounts. For example, enabling IMAP would allow you to access your Gmail messages in a Microsoft Outlook application. You'll want to go into your Gmail account and click the gear in the top right-hand corner to access your settings panel. Once you're here, you'll want to select the Forwarding and Pop IMAP tab and make sure that the IMAP is enabled. A protection filter associated with Google accounts is that Google will try to block sign-in attempts from devices or applications which do not utilize modern security standards. If one of these applications, such as aid4mail, try to connect to the Google account, the program will return a password incorrect error. You will want to go into your Google account settings and allow it to accept less secure apps. The easiest way to do that is to Google the settings specifications and click the correct link. As you can see, I currently have access for less secure apps turned off. After you test this program, it might be a good idea to turn it back on for security purposes. Now that we have some of the house cleaning out of the way, we are ready to dive into the actual aid4mail application. As you can see here, aid4mail will run you about $300 for a 1-year license for use in the public sector, or about $1,500 for a 1-year license in the private sector. In this case, we will be using the free trial version, which only requires a valid email to access. According to the aid4mail website, their program meets the requirements required to make it Section 508 compliant, which means it can officially be used by U.S. government agencies. As for the limitations in the trial application, there will be an 8-second delay when opening the wizard to show off the trial mode screen. You are also limited to 50 messages per mailbox, and a trial tag will be added to the subject line of the exported messages. I'll point these out when they appear in our testing. I won't bore you with downloading and installing the software. It is a pretty easy process. So first, you'll want to open the aid4mail program, and you will be greeted with the test edition page, as mentioned before. Down here, if you can see this bar, you'll see the 8-second delay requiring this page to show before you can continue. On this next page, you will be asked to select which mail source you want to examine. In most cases, this software will be used to examine messages saved on the computer using Office Outlook or another popular mail client. But for this example, we will see what type of results we can get through email on a remote server, such as Gmail, Yahoo, and Office 365. On the next page, you need to input the necessary information to connect with the IMAP account. You can put in your own information for the server name and namespace boxes, or simply change your settings to fill it in for you. Again, we will be using a Gmail account. You will also want to enter the username and password. As you can see, I've tested this before, so they already put the information in there for me. You might be asking, what's the point of doing all this if we already know the username and password? Why not just access the actual account and download the files directly from there? However, you will want to remember that digital forensics is all about not leaving any footprints behind. Accessing the file of a suspect directly can alter some of the information on the account. For example, have you ever opened up your email to have the latest message be displayed and then automatically marked as read? So, going back a few slides, you will remember that we accessed and enabled the IMAP settings in our Google account. This is the page where we would have gotten an error message that the password is incorrect if we had not enabled or disabled the appropriate settings. On this slide, the application will ask you what folders you want searched during the investigation. Although you can later set specifications for your search, such as date received, aid4mail will search all the folders you have selected here for possible matches. As you can see, a lot of junk and spam has accumulated in this account, and that I'm also a giant email pack rat. For this example, I'll include all the files. On the next page, you can filter your search even more. You can limit your search to specific dates, as well as look for specific keywords. I'm going to set my mail content to found in header or text and search for my name. We are then asked for our desired export format. There are plenty of options for you to peruse, such as importing the emails into a standard Outlook account. But for this example, I'll be sending them to a simple PDF file. Finally, you'll be asked for a few more target settings and specifics on your exporting format. And then you are ready to start your search. Depending on the size of the mailbox, this process can take a while. For the size of my mailbox, it will take approximately 5 minutes. I'll snip the video and return when it's done. So this time around, the process finished in about 1 minute and 20 seconds. And when it was completed, a PDF was opened to show the first 50 emails that satisfied our listed requirements, as seen before. As you can see by the first email presented in the PDF file, the only instance of my name can be found in the header file. So the program was able to successfully read that in. Here is the trial tag that was included in the subject line. This is again a caveat for the trial version of aid4mail. However, not all the promises given by this program were met. For example, running through this list of emails, there are no indications of attachments being retained. That might be difficult when importing to a PDF, and would more likely show if these files were imported instead to another email application, such as a desktop Outlook application. Therefore, I'll let this one slide for now. So running through these emails, I'm going to scan to see if I can find one that had an attachment with it to see if that I can open the attachment from these exported emails. Here's one. So this is an Excel file that was imported along with the message to this PDF file. Let's see if we can open it and see what happens. So it took a little bit, but it did work, which is pretty great. I thought this might be an option that would only be available if we imported the emails into an application such as Outlook for the desktop. But no, we were able to open attachments in the PDF version of these emails as well. For another quick test, I sent myself an email listed as pickle, with the subject line pickle and the only text being pickle. This might seem weird, but I wanted to be sure that I used the search word that would not return 50 emails before reaching the newest message. I'm fairly positive I don't have 50 emails with the subject pickle in my inbox. I'm also going to request for the program to search for the keyword geocache. As you can see as I type it in, when I search for the term in my Gmail account, I get many results. Let's try to export these emails like we did before. So for this trial, we're going to keep all the information the same, except we are going to change our keywords to pickle and geocache. And after about 31 seconds, you can see that no search results were returned. That's bizarre, right? We saw that there should have been plenty of emails matching the criteria we put in. This leads me to be hesitant about the reliability of the program. If aid4mail can't locate even one of the 67 geocaching emails in my inbox, or the pickle email that I just sent and we confirmed has arrived, how can I rely on aid4mail to find important evidence? A lot of this might rely on the type of email we are searching for. I'll briefly explain what this means. There are three main types of email: Outlook, text-based emails, and webmail. Outlook is heavily used by many businesses, but can be installed and used on individual personal computers as well. With Outlook, all emails and mailboxes are stored in one large PST file. This information is encrypted, but it is still present on the computer itself. Files that are deleted from Outlook are still stored in this file and will remain there until the file is compressed. Outlook Express, Eudora, and Thunderbird are examples of text-based email. Everything is stored on the computer in text files with these type of email. Webmail, such as Yahoo and Gmail, like we explored today, are examples of webmail. Unlike Outlook and text-based emails, webmail is not stored locally on the computer. You are just accessing and viewing this information. Typically, the large email corporations don't like to play around with their sensitive information, so that's why we needed an email and password to access the email files. As you can see, this could have been the cause for some of the issues we had with the aid4mail application. The application was primarily created to view email files saved to the actual computer in some form, not particularly webmail, like we used it for. So, would I recommend aid4mail? That's a tough question. I was disappointed that we were not able to retrieve and view some basic test emails I had set up. However, this might be because the application is better at exporting email files saved to the actual computer as opposed to webmail. Overall, some experimentation is required before I can make a concrete decision. If you'd like to test out aid4mail yourself, you can download the trial version I used in this presentation free at the site listed here. I'd also like to thank Steve Burgess for some of the information I used in explaining the types of email formats. His website is also linked here.